we're going to look at decimals and change them to either fractions or mixed numbers in simplest form. Make sure everything is in simplest form when you're done. So our first step here is going to be to read it. Then we're going to write it as a fraction, and finally we're going to reduce it. So if I read my first number, this is 0 and 3/10. So I simply write 3/10 as a fraction, and I look to see what the factors of 3 are, 1 and 3. Does 10 divide by 1 or 3 to change it? And it doesn't, so my final answer is 3/10. The second one, I would read 1 and 6/10. This one's not a fraction anymore, it's a mixed number because I have a whole number 1 and the fraction part 6/10. So I still have a 1 in my answer, but I can divide my 6 and my 10 both by 2 to give me 1 and 3/5. So 1.6 is 1 and 3/5 in lowest terms, in simplest form. My next one is 0 and 8/10. So as a fraction, that's 8 over 100. The largest number that those divide by is 4. And that leaves me with 2 over 25 in simplest form. And the last one, 2 and 27/100. So 2 and 27/100. What goes into 27 is 1 times 27 and 3 times 9, and none of those go into 100, so in simplest form it's 2 and 27/100. It didn't change. Pause the video while you try these 4. Read each one separately, write it as a fraction or mixed number, and finally reduce it. The first one would be read 2 and 5/10. So if I think of that fraction or mixed number, since I said an and something besides 0 in front of that, it's 2 and 5 over 10, 5/10. Those both divide by 5 to give me 2 and 1/2. The next one is read 1 and 25/100. Those both divide by 25 to give me 1 and 1/4. The third one is read 5/1000. Those will both divide by 5, and that will give me 1 over 200. And the last one is 1 and 225,000. Now they both end in 5 and 0, so I could divide down by 5 and keep going that way. But I also know that if I count by quarters and think money, these will both divide by 25. So if I divide both of those by 25, I end up with 1 and 9/40.